ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it going with Arielle Hazi. Woo!
It's comedic. So they say it's not even on. So I'm gonna hold it anyway. So they say that you're supposed to like let the audience relate to you. Like that's how you make comedy good. So I'll just start with who else here is just real happy with the current state of the government?
Woo! Fuck you, Breaker.
So I can't see, but did anybody do anything cool over winter break?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna
You're not. I didn't do anything cool, so.
Okay, what would you do? I can't see.
I watched a lot of Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. Hung out with my girlfriend.
Okay.
That was pretty cool, I guess.
Congrats. I didn't do anything cool over winter break. I spent most of my break in bed, like sleeping like 10 or 11 hours a night. My mom, the thing was like the hours that I would sleep, it was like 4:30 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. So it like wasn't even like a productive time to be sleeping. It was like a standard work day. But my mom was really concerned that I was in bed all the time, and she came to me and she was like, Arielle, you know, like, should you see a doctor? Like, why are you not doing anything? Like, is there something seriously wrong with you? And I just thought it was funny that my mom's first reaction to me just being a lazy piece of shit was that there was something diagnosable there. No, Mom, I'm sorry. I'm just not a good person. One of the few times that I did leave the house was to go to the dentist. And it was the first time I went to the dentist since I got my wisdom teeth removed, which was like 4 years ago. So if you think that the dentist or the hygienist is mean to you for not flossing, like imagine how mean she is when you don't floss for 4 years. She's very mean. But I still go to a kid's dentist mostly because like getting them to like send my records over requires like at least 2 phone calls, and I don't want to do that. So it's actually, it's the dentist and the hygienist are always like very impressed. They're like, wow, you're such a great patient. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't cry, I don't bite you, you know, I don't scream, I'm 20. Most of your patients are 3, like I don't hoard the stickers. You're welcome. I like went home with like a list of doctors I was gonna go to. I was gonna get new glasses, didn't do that. But I also was gonna go to like a dermatologist or an allergist because I'm just holding this because over the past few months I've developed this really fun thing called dermatographia, which what happens is like if I scratch myself, which I'm not gonna do, but if I scratch myself or someone else scratches me, or like I get a scratch, I get like hives wherever the scratch is, and then I get real itchy, and it's like this real fun positive feedback loop where I keep scratching myself, and then I just end up as like one giant welt. But it actually like over winter break got so sensitive that like if I rubbed myself too hard, or like if someone grabbed me, I'd get a hives there. So basically I'm allergic to human contact, which explains a lot. I did spend some of my time swiping through Tinder like most people do, because like what else, like how else can you like flirt while you're still in your pajamas other than over the internet? But one thing that you might have noticed about me is I look a lot younger than I am. Like when I tell people I'm a junior, they assume I'm a junior in high school, and they're like, oh, what AP classes are you taking? And I'm like, screw you, I'm in college! But I don't say that because that's rude. But like I look 16. And every so often someone on Tinder will tell me that I'm hot, which makes me a little uncomfortable because the people who think that I'm hot, like who think that people who look 16 are hot, are not the people I want to be boinking. It's like that thing Woody Allen said in the beginning of Annie Hall, except he actually did want to boink girls who were 16. Yes, so one time I did get out of bed for an extended amount of time. I went to Panama with my mom. Thanks. I guess. But I went with my mom, and it was fun. But fun fact, they speak Spanish in Panama. It's in Latin America. Most of Latin America, they speak Spanish. But I speak more Spanish than my mom, which really isn't saying much because my mom doesn't speak any Spanish. She kept accidentally saying thank you in Italian instead of in Spanish. And I had to correct her. But so I would, be doing most of the talking. And I got pretty good at asking questions, but my Spanish was never good enough to understand the answers. So I could ask how much something costs, but if it cost more than $10, I wouldn't know how much it cost. Or I could ask where something was, but if the answer wasn't right there, I'd be just as lost as I was before. The only question that I understood the answer to all the time was hablas inglés, because the answer is either sí or no. And no means no in English, and by the process of elimination, you can figure out that sí means yes. Most of the time the answer was no, though, so that didn't help at all. Let's see, what else did I do? So, statistically speaking, half of you should relate to this, but you know how when, you have, a big change or whatever, it totally fucks with your menstrual cycle?
Yeah.
Thank you. I know that you were in the half that don't relate to that. That was rude. You might just have a low voice. I'm sorry. Anyway, so anytime I go to school or back from school for an extended amount of time, it messes up my cycle. Usually over winter break, it'll end up being a month late. But I'm not concerned because you have to have sex to get pregnant. So my cycle ended up being 3 weeks late. And I kid you not, my period started the day after the inauguration. Which is my body's immediate reaction to everything was just fuck this, I'm done. And it was on the same day as all the women's marches, so everybody, all these other women and men and people were out there celebrating women's rights and stuff, and I was curled up in bed resenting the fact that I had a uterus. I was just this is stupid. It was rough, but I originally promised myself that I wouldn't make political jokes, which as you can tell has already failed. But then I was I'm not going to make any jokes about our president, because he's enough of a joke himself. But I thought of this one the other night, and I think it's funny, so I want to share it with you before comedy's outlawed. So I'm going to stand to the side, please. You know what? I'm just going to put this away. This isn't doing anything. So one thing that I've always noticed about Donald Trump's speeches is he has very weird hand movements. He always looks like he's playing a little accordion. But he also has 3 very distinctive handshakes. He's got the point with a purpose, the mark my words, and the subtle finger gun. But fun fact, those are actually letters in American Sign Language. So the point with a purpose is the letter D, and then the mark my words is the letter F, and then the subtle finger gun is an L. And so I'm convinced that he's trying to tell us something. It's a secret code of some sort. It stands for something. What does DFL stand for? And the only thing I can think of is Donald is a fat loser. Another thing he does notice, he goes this, but this is French fry in sign language. If you don't know, he eats a lot of fast food. So I think that one he's doing on purpose. That's his way of letting his aides know it's lunchtime. But then another thing that he did, that a lot of commentators commented on, is at the very end of his inauguration speech, he did a little fist bump this or whatever. But this is A in sign language. So his hand was just going,